Hey everyone, it's Rihanna and welcome back to another movie review. Today we're going to be talking about Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, which is directed by Zack Snyder. Before we get this review started, I haven't read the source material for Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. I have not read anything it's based off, I've not read any of the comics, so I'm purely going to be reviewing this as a film. And also another note, this review is going to be half non-spoilers, half spoilers, but I will give you tons of warning when I get into the spoiler section. So this film takes place 18 months after the events of Man of Steel, and it's left the world wondering what type of hero they actually need, considering Superman brought the destruction to Earth. Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, fears the power of Superman could wipe out the entire Earth and decides to go up against him. All while this is happening, a new threat in Metropolis arises in Lex Luthor, and the two heroes may have to team up to take him down. Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice has been anticipated forever, since Man of Steel came out in 2013, so let's talk about it. This film has not been getting a lot of love from the critics. Its score on Rotten Tomatoes is actually a crime. I really quite enjoyed Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. Was it a masterpiece? Not by any means whatsoever. It has its problems, but it also has its shining moments. One of those shining moments and one of the best parts of the film was Ben Affleck's version of Bruce Wayne and Batman. Everyone hated the idea of Ben Affleck being Batman. God no, like, curse this day that Ben Affleck becomes Batman, but he was great in the film. I really liked his character. I thought he was as smart as Bruce Wayne and also a really good fighter as Batman. I thought Ben Affleck's portrayal of Batman and Bruce Wayne was one of the best we've seen on screen so far. And also Bruce Wayne's relationship with Alfred, who is played by Jeremy Irons in the film, is so cool. They have such a great chemistry, and obviously his backstory. Batman's backstory is just one of the best in comic book history and comic book film history to watch, and even though I had to sit through it again, I still love seeing the backstory of Batman. Needless to say, all the haters of Ben Affleck as Batman are now running for the hills, as he really impressed me, and from what I can tell, everyone else. The fact of the matter is, Batfleck was so impressive that he actually took the spotlight away from Henry Cavill as Superman. Now, as much as everyone wants to believe that Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice is a Superman film, I beg to differ. As much as I find the conflict between Batman and Superman really interesting, the God versus man, the should he use his powers for good or bad and what can he do with his powers, I love those conflicts in this film, and I love the fact that Superman and Clark Kent have those inner conflicts in his character. But as much as I wanted to be invested in Clark Kent and Superman, I just couldn't do it in this film. Henry Cavill as Superman and Clark Kent is gorgeous. So gorgeous to look at. He's ripped and his jawline could cut 1,000 men. However, the writing in this film for Clark Kent's character just didn't want you to be invested in Superman. The scenes with Lois Lane / Clark Kent and Superman in this film were probably the scenes in the film I liked the least. The scenes at the Daily Planet, I couldn't have cared less about the scenes at the Daily Planet, and that's really unfortunate because I really liked Man of Steel. It's cool seeing Clark Kent as a humane character, wanting to go into the Batman story, wanting to find the bottom of the Batman mystery, but I just don't think it worked too well in this film. I was never too convinced on Amy Adams as Lois Lane anyway. I don't know the source material, so I don't know if she portrays the character very well, but Lois Lane as a character, as much as she tried in this film, she didn't try hard enough. The moment that sparked my interest the most after the whole Ben Affleck as Batman is amazing moment in this film was when Gal Gadot came on as Diana Prince / Wonder Woman. Oh my goodness, I loved Wonder Woman in this film. Wonder Woman doesn't have too many scenes in this film, she doesn't have too many lines in this film, but the ones she does have, she steals those scenes. We're introduced to her as Diana Prince. She's very mysterious. We don't really know a lot about her, and that's what I love. I love the mystery behind Diana Prince and Wonder Woman. There's a lot of setup in this film for the Justice League, and obviously the introduction of Wonder Woman brought that in, and some of those scenes were my favourite in Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. And damn, when Wonder Woman came in to fight, I was so happy. I think that's the first time in Batman v Superman that I smiled. This film was incredibly dark and there's not much to smile about, but when she came in with her fighting style in that last half of the film, oh, I just was brought so much joy. And Wonder Woman's theme on the score of this film is incredible. I'm gonna set it as my alarm so I wake up feeling badass every day. It seems I have a very unpopular opinion when it comes to Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, the villain in this film. Everyone seems to really hate him, and as I said, I haven't read the source material, so I don't know whether he's actually portrayed the character in a good or bad way, but I really loved psychotic Jesse Eisenberg. Writing wise, I feel like they could have written Lex Luthor as a stronger villain. I would have liked to have known more of his backstory and more of his motives. However, I saw a psychotic side to Jesse Eisenberg in Lex Luthor that I've never seen before. So I was kind of in a trance and very amazed by Jesse Eisenberg as this creepy character who just loves playing with all of his technology and really does not like his dad, but I don't know. Maybe my opinion will change on Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor as time goes on, but I really loved how evil and psychotic he was. I loved his mannerisms and his hand gestures and everything like that. I just thought he brought his own little twist to it. Would someone else as Lex Luthor done a better job? Probably, but what we got, I'm happy with Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I'm probably gonna get hate comments, but okay. This film takes a while to get going. Obviously you have the transition period from going to Man of Steel to Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice and everything that's gone in between that time. So the beginning of this film is quite slow, it takes a bit to get into, and then bam, something plot-wise will happen and it will be amazing and it will shock you and your mouth will be on the floor and you'll just wonder what's going on next. And the tension building to that is amazing because you don't expect it to happen, and I think the writing in this film is really clever in that way. But then again, you have to wait a while for something else amazing to happen in this film. Pacing in this film, I felt the first 2 acts were very stop-start, and then the last half an hour of this film, the part that I absolutely loved, just went by far too quickly for my liking. The first 2 acts had its shining moments. They were going with a really political route for Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, and I liked the route they were going with, but that made the pacing suffer. While we're on the subject of pacing, there are so many scenes in this film that I felt were really odd and out of place, and it easily could have been cut from this film. It's a 2.5 hour film. Come on, you can cut out this one random scene and it will be fine. And when you got a title that says Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, I think people are going to expect a little bit more action than there actually is in this film. What there is of the action, however, is incredible. When they finally smack down, holy lord, it's amazing. Choreography and hand-to-hand combat in this film between Superman and Batman is just satisfying to watch. The guns and the explosions, I really couldn't care less about that as action. I'm so tired of it. But the hand-to-hand combat, I love. I already told you how much I love Wonder Woman as a fighter. She blows my mind and everything like that. But finally, when they get down to it, the action is so satisfying to watch. As cool as the hand-to-hand combat and fighting sequences in this film were, the other aspects of the action in this film I did not like. The CGI explosions, the gunfights, I was not a fan. The CGI wasn't terrible in this film. It was no Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles / San Andreas that was just god-awful dire, but the CGI probably could have been a little bit better considering how much money they spent on this film. It was a lot of money. Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice as a film is well made. It's well shot. I thought the cinematography was gorgeous. In certain points of this film I thought it looked really nice. The score by Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL, oh my goodness, the score is freaking amazing. For the most part, the writing of this film is really solid and has its shining moments, but then again it can also be really messy in other parts. Zack Snyder is back at it again with his slow-mo, rain coming down directing style, and I'm a sucker for it. I really like the way he styles his films. I can't help it. My thoughts and review on this film are very love-hate. On one hand, some of the action sequences and some of the film is just so great, and on the other hand, the other parts of it kind of overshadow that, the parts of it that aren't so great. Let's just put it this way, long story short, the first 2 acts of this film were good. The last act of this film was great. Everything else, I've already told you, and I really want to get onto my spoiler section, but we're going to give this film a rating first. Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice gets a win from me. I still enjoyed myself overall. I just think the film had so much more potential to be better. It wasn't a masterpiece and it's probably not going to be in my top 10 of this year. Okay people, fair warning, if you have not seen Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, please stop watching this video now because I'm going to be going into heavy spoilers in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so spoiler-wise, there are only 4 main points that I want to go through with you quickly. I just needed to talk about these things. So point number 1, the build-up to the Justice League. As I said in my spoiler-free section of this review, I loved how they set up for Justice League in this film. I mean, it could have been way more focused on Superman rather than Justice League, but oh well. I liked it. I love the introduction of Diana Prince, the fact that Lex Luthor had this photograph in his possession of her back in 1919, I believe, and I hope that's from when her origin movie is going to be, I don't know. But that was really interesting how we got introduced to her as a character. There's still a lot of mystery going on there, and as I already expressed, my love for Wonder Woman. And on that little hard drive they had all the information about the metahumans who are in the Justice League, and as cheesy as those little logos looked, I loved that little section where she was just watching the clips of Flash, of Cyborg, of Aquaman. I thought it was badass. I I love the sense of mystery about Aquaman. I just thought Jason Momoa was the perfect casting. And Ezra Miller as the Flash I wasn't too warm about, considering I watched the Flash TV show and love Grant Gustin as Barry Allen, but I could definitely warm to his Flash. And Cyborg is a character I don't know too much about, but I love his introduction as well. I just thought that whole section of the film was one of my favourites, and I really love the setup to Justice League. Point number 2 is Doomsday. Doomsday looked like if an orc and a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle had a baby, that would be Doomsday, and I thought he would look a lot worse. From the trailers, I couldn't deal with Doomsday. He just looked like a really just messed up Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, and in this film, he didn't actually look that bad. I actually quite liked the thought of Lex Luthor creating Doomsday to destroy Superman, and ultimately that is what leads to Superman dying, because let's face it, Superman's not dead. The fact that the government got all involved and sent up a nuke to destroy Doomsday and that made Doomsday stronger. I love the fact that DC were like, nah, we're not going to make it that easy for you. You're going to have to beat this thing down, and you're going to have to go down with it. Speaking of Superman's death, I know in Marvel no one's really truly dead in Marvel except Uncle Ben, because they always come back to life. But I was like, please don't kill Superman. We hardly got any of him in this film, and I want Superman back. And then literally the last shot of this film are those little pieces of dirt rising above his coffin and him sending Lois Lane an engagement ring. Come on, Superman knew he couldn't die. Superman can't be dead. He can't be dead, right? Oh God. And point number 5 is near the end with Lex Luthor in the prison cell with Batman. He was saying the bells were ringing and everything's already started, and I'm thinking, holy Lord, what has Lex Luthor unleashed? What has he done? Because this is definitely not the last we're seeing of Lex Luthor. Batman kind of looked terrified at Lex Luthor in that scene, I'm not gonna lie, and Affleck never looks terrified, he just looks very grumpy. I'm terrified of what Lex Luthor is gonna do. Obviously, Justice League is gonna have one freaking kick-ass, unstoppable villain to go up against Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, Cyborg, Flash, Aquaman, whoever else they decide to bring in. God, that villain is gonna have to... yeah. I also just wanted to bring that scene out because I thought Jesse Eisenberg was fantastic in that film. What is it with me and Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor? I don't know. I'm sure there are other spoilery things I could talk about and Easter eggs, but as I said, I haven't read the source material, so I'll leave an Easter egg video on the screen or down below in the description that you can go check out if you want to know all the Easter eggs in Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. But I think that is it for this video. I will be doing a live spoiler talk on somebody's channel, but I will leave information for that on my Twitter at some point when we get it sorted out. If you guys have seen Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, which I'm assuming you are since you stayed for the spoiler part, let me know what you thought of it down below in the comments. But if you are talking spoilers, please warn everyone else. And if you like this review, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be putting lots more TV reviews and movie reviews to you guys on very soon. As always, my social media link, including my Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and Letterboxd, will be down below in the description. Come follow me, and thank you guys so much for watching. That's all I have for you today. Bye!